Hey everyone! All right, if you're gearing up for ESM 553, you have definitely come to the right place. We are about to break down the core concepts, the stuff you absolutely positively have to know for your exam. So let's just jump right in. So, what do they have in common? It's a great question, isn't it? You've got these ancient generals and modern CEOs. I mean, it seems like they're from totally different universes. But the answer? Well, it gets right to the heart of what we're talking about today: strategy. And you're about to see that the core ideas, they really haven't changed all that much.
Okay, so first things first, let's start at square one. If you really want to get a grip on strategic management, you've got to understand what strategy is and, where this whole concept even came from in the first place. Believe it or not, the word itself takes us all the way back to ancient Greece. It comes from strategia. And what did it mean? Basically, the art or science of being a general. And the goal was super straightforward, but absolutely critical. Lead your army, win the war, and keep your city safe.
And this is just a perfect way to think about it, right? Back then, the opponent was an invading army. You needed a plan to counteract their attack. Fast forward to today, in the business world, well, your opponent is the competition. So your strategy is just that. It's your game plan, your whole pattern of actions designed to win in the marketplace. Now, this is a big one, especially for your exam, so pay close attention. What makes a decision strategic? Well, a few key things. First, they're not about what you're doing tomorrow, they're about the long-term direction of the whole company. They are, by their very nature, complex. And this is huge. These big picture choices, they cascade down and shape all the smaller, day-to-day operational decisions. The whole point is to add value everywhere and build that all-important competitive edge. All right, so if strategy is the what we're going to do and the how we're going to do it, the next big piece of the puzzle is the why. And that right there is the mission statement. It answers a fundamental question: what is our purpose? And that why is the guiding light for every single strategic move a company makes. So when it comes to mission statements, you'll generally see two types, and it's really important to get the difference. You've got your product-based ones, which are all about, well, the product, what the company makes. But then you have customer-based missions. These don't focus on the thing, they focus on the value or the solution you're giving to your customers. It's a small shift in language, but it makes a huge difference. Let's look at a really clear example from your course material. Think about a university. A product-based mission might be something like, we provide professional-based courses. Okay, fine. But check out the customer-based version. We are a provider of knowledge and information. See how different that feels? The second one is all about the value for the student. It's way more inspiring, and it opens up so many more possibilities for what that university could become. So why do we even care about this? Why does it matter? Because a really good mission statement is absolutely critical. It gives everyone focus, a clear direction. It makes sure you're using your resources, your money, your people, your time in the smartest way possible. And it serves as a kind of moral compass for how you do business. It really is the North Star for the whole organization. Okay, so we've got our why. That's the mission. Now we need to figure out the where. As in, where do we compete? This is the third giant piece of the strategy puzzle, getting a handle on the environment your company is actually operating in. And this brings us to a super important term: strategic position. Think of it as a three-part scan of your surroundings. First, you've got to look outside at the external environment. Then you look inside at what you're good at, your capabilities. And finally, you have to think about what everyone who has a stake in the company, your stakeholders, actually expects from you. Nailing this analysis is the absolute bedrock for building a solid strategy. Now, that first part, analyzing the external environment, that can feel kind of huge and overwhelming, right? Well, lucky for us, strategists have a key framework they use to break it all down. And you are definitely going to want to know this one for the exam. And that framework is PESTLE. Seriously, commit this one to memory. It's an acronym, and it stands for political, economic, social, technological, legal, and environmental. It's basically a checklist of all the major outside forces that can affect your organization. This is the tool you use, the lens you look through to make sense of the world your business lives in. Phew. Okay. We have covered a ton of ground here, so let's do a really quick review of the essentials. Think of this as your last-minute checklist, the stuff you absolutely need to have locked in before your exam. So here it is, all boiled down. Strategy, that's your long-term game plan. Mission, that's your why, your core purpose. And strategic position, that's your context, understanding your place in the wider environment. If you get these three,
You are golden. And just remember how they all link up. Your mission guides your analysis of your strategic position, and that understanding is what lets you build a killer strategy.
So I want to leave you with a final thought, or maybe a challenge. Don't just memorize these terms for the test. I want you to actually use them. Pick a company you interact with every single day. Can you figure out what their strategy is? What about their mission? Their strategic position? Taking these concepts and applying them to the real world, that's how you make them stick. All right, good luck with the studying.